All right. It's Wednesday, the 13th of August. New highs in the market. I don't think the Dow took out its record. I think that's 45,074, right around there, but it will. So I expected this week. I told you guys even last week that we were going to have a very strong week of fiscal flows, and that would be bullish for the market. Flows will peak on Friday with the quarterly interest payment, and usually, I've been telling you guys this. Usually, when that happens, you get a correction in the market. And also, this is very interesting. I want to point something out because now every third Wednesday of the month, we get that big tariff drain. Okay, we get tariff deposit. The Treasury gets tariff deposits every day. They've been running about 400 million a day. That's up about, I don't know, almost 50% from the rate of last year. But the big drain comes once a month on the third Wednesday of every month. And that's going to be like 30 billion. Now, what's interesting about this is that now, effectively, because of these tariff drains once a month, it's effectively canceling out one entire Social Security payment. We get Social Security payments every Wednesday of every week. So 4 times a month plus sometimes two smaller ones, supplementals. But now that 30 billion, like next week, next Wednesday, when we get that tariff drain, which next Wednesday is also going to be a Social Security payment, it basically nullifies the Social Security payment. Now just wrap your head around that. Like, think about that. I mean, the tariffs now are eliminating one Social Security payment a month. And you're talking about Social Security payment days, you get like a 25 billion net flow. They're usually like around maybe like a 45 billion or a 40 billion leading flow. You get something like a 25 billion, 28 billion net flow. And now it basically like cancels it out. And the tariffs are they're gonna get bigger. So like, something's got to be done. I mean, something's got to be done at some point to offset that. Now, again, I've been saying every single day for a while that I don't know what the impact of the big beautiful bill is with the tax cuts. I don't see anything so far in the fiscal flows, and I look very closely at tax deposits, which I hope are going to start to shrink with the BBB, the tax cuts in the big beautiful bill. But so far, everything is just proceeding along on a trend that has been in place even before the big beautiful bill. But we're losing one Social Security payment a month. That's not nothing. All right, that's something. Now, again, nobody's telling you this stuff. Only me. You're not reading this in Zero Intelligence Hedge. You're not watching this on CNBC, those clowns and the clowns at Fox Business, and you're just not. I mean, you're not. Yahoo Finance, Google Finance, the Wall Street Journal, what a joke. I'm telling you this stuff. It'll come out eventually. Like everything I tell you eventually comes out at some point, like with monthly deficits or whatever. Anyway, here's the thing I want to really talk about today. And it's a topic that I've discussed in the past, but I want to bring it back because where are all these debt doomsday people? See, because let me start off by saying this. And again, this is something that I've discussed with you guys in the past. You can't have a set of principles or a theory where it's different in all different situations. if you have a theory or a set of principles which describes something, the monetary system, motion in the case of physics, gravity, stuff like that. If you have a theory, a set of principles that is a description of something, you can't say like, oh, in this instance, it works this way. And then in that instance, it's the opposite. So that's always what we're dealing with here with the United States monetary system and the way it is talked about, the way it is covered in the not only the financial media here in the United States or really throughout the world, but also among academics, among economists, all right? And what I'm trying to say is this. So we've seen them selling the dollar. And now I saw a headline today. This is what made me want to talk about this, because there was another one of these ridiculous headlines where I remember what I told you yesterday. Like, you just got to go against this stuff. I mean, you could basically put on a blindfold. Somebody could read you a headline, and you just right away, no matter what it is, you go online. I was going to say you call your broker. That doesn't happen anymore. You go online, you just do the opposite. But like today, I saw a headline like, oh, the Fed now, the momentum is really there that the Fed is going to cut interest rates, so the dollar's getting sold. The dollar's getting sold because the Fed's going to cut interest rates. Why is it then that the Swiss franc is the strongest currency in the world and their interest rates are negative? Why is it then that the euro has had a tremendous rally after 8 rate cuts by the ECB? Why is it then, in the opposite sense, which is, these are examples I've given you guys so many times, it gets boring to repeat it, but, why isn't the Argentine peso the strongest currency in the world? Like, what's their interest rate? Like over 100%? Why isn't the Turkish lira the strongest or the second strongest currency in the world? You cannot have a theory or a set of principles which states axiomatically, like these people will, when we're in the context of the United States, when we're discussing the U.S. monetary system, they will sit there, 10 out of 10 of these guys, if you lined them up and you asked them, are rate cuts bearish for the dollar? 10 out of 10 of these guys would tell you yes. And they would completely ignore the examples that I gave you of 8 rate cuts in the euro by the ECB and the euro is going up. Negative interest rates by the Swiss National Bank, and the Swiss franc is the strongest currency in the world. I mean, like, you can't do that. That just you can, but it just shows you how bogus and ridiculous these theories that they have are. I mean, why is the United States, for some reason, it applies differently? Or vice versa. Why is it that these other examples apply differently? And when we're looking at in the context of the United States, that's a whole different. You can't have it that way. Any rational person, scientist, imagine this in science if you had something like this. You can't have it that way and be considered a serious person. Yet that's exactly what's out there. That's exactly what's out there. You cannot have an argument that says the dollar needs to go down, or it's going to definitely go down. And I'm telling you, 10 out of 10, if you line these guys up, if you had them in a room, I don't care, 50 out of 50, 100 out of 100. I know a lot of these guys. I've been on Wall Street a long time. I've been an economist for a long time. I've been on TV. I met a lot of them. They would all say it, 100 out of 100, including central bankers, all the top policy people. And then if you ask them, what about the Swiss franc and the Swiss National Bank? What about the ECB and the euro? They would brush you off. Like they would they would cop some kind of attitude towards you like, how dare you question me? How dare you question me? You see what I'm talking about? Just can't operate like this. But again, like I talk about these things, it's funny because I talk about these things and then like, as I'm saying this to you guys, I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, but that's good because we could make money off of that. We could that always comes in later. I mean, like, because I'm the kind of guy, like, I believe in the truth. I believe in rationality. I believe in science. I believe in facts. And when things don't line up, I question that. Like when I see contradictions. I spoke about this so many times in videos, how I met so many of these guys and because people ask me, they always ask me like, Mike, don't you think they really know what they're talking about? But like they're pulling some kind of Machiavellian bullshit, or they have some ulterior motive where they're just saying it because they want to get something, but they really know. No, they don't, because I caught so many of these guys in contradicting themselves that it's laughable. It's funny. Like I really want to laugh in their face. Maybe I did even a couple of times. I told you when I had a radio show, like I had people who walked off like frequently. You know, I would challenge them. No softball questions. And that was, again, you know, I used to get very heated about this stuff and maybe get in kind of arguments a little bit. But I don't know, man, like that's how I see it. And it's not a question of that's how I see it. You can't have that. I mean, that doesn't work. You can't have a set of principles which you claim that they are axiomatic. Like when this happens, and you state that as an axiomatic principle. You know, like 1 and 1 equals 2. But over there, it equals 3 or -1. Well, we don't pay attention to that. That doesn't matter. We don't look at that. What is that? What is that? Do you guys see this? I mean, do you care at all? Because this is like a gift to you. You don't need to go through, like I've been doing this for a long time. And I study and I learn and I think and I reflect and I ruminate on this stuff. And it's like, you basically don't even have to, it's like I say now, just go opposite and go fishing. Or play golf, whatever your thing is. Play tennis, I don't know, go on a hike. But like, it's so glaring. And it's so like, I mean, it's embarrassing. To me, it's embarrassing for these guys that they state these things. They say these things when there's blatant contradictions to what they're saying. And they try to come off as so serious, so smart and so serious. And they're not. I don't care where they went to school. I went to an Ivy League school. I don't care where they went to school. And I got taught bad. Okay? So like, that's it, man. Anyway, that's my thing for today. Think about what I said. What the tariffs now are eliminating one payment every month of Social Security. So we either need to see those tax cuts hit in the BBB. I mean, if they send out checks, that was a proposal by one member of Congress. I don't know where that is, but one check is not going to do it unless it covers 12 months of losses of Social Security. I mean, you're still going to get your Social Security check, but what I'm saying is that the economy, think of the swimming pool, right? Where once a month, we had that spurt of water, that one day a month, that water got shut off. Okay? When you think about, 20 days, 20 business days a month, that water is flowing out. And 4 times a month, the volume gets bigger. But one of those days now, 1 week out of the month, that extra volume has been taken away. And remember, the pool always has a crack in it because that's taxes. That's taxes draining constantly. So you need that water to keep flowing, because if it doesn't flow more than the tax drain, more than that drain, what happens to the water? It goes down, and that's the economy. The water level in the pool, that's the economy. So anyway, that's it for today, folks. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial to MMT Trader. Bye.